There's something mysterious that happens when we speak words with intention just before we drift into sleep. Science calls it the power of the subconscious. Jung called it the threshold between the conscious ego and the vast realm of the self. Every night, as the outer world fades and the inner world awakens, our words carry a different kind of weight, a symbolic power that echoes beyond logic. What if, right before sleep, you could plant a seed in someone else's mind, without them ever realizing where the thought came from? This isn't about manipulation, it's about resonance. When the psyche is open and undefended, certain words can create a silent bridge between two souls. Carl Jung's ideas help us understand how, by speaking a specific affirmation, you can activate unconscious forces in both yourself and the other, igniting a connection that feels fated, but isn't. If this resonates with you, leave a comment saying, "Energy speaks louder than words." Carl Jung believed that much of what we experience in relationships is shaped not by conscious thought, but by unconscious dynamics. When we say something with deep emotional charge before sleep, especially with focused intent, we're engaging not just with the personal unconscious, but potentially activating something in the collective unconscious, the shared psychological field where symbols, archetypes, and instincts reside. The psyche communicates in symbols, and the hours before sleep are a portal through which these symbols can enter the unconscious more fluidly. Jung's concept of projection explains how we unknowingly assign parts of our inner world onto others. When you speak an affirmation that's emotionally charged, you're not just influencing your own unconscious, you're participating in the energetic field between yourself and another. This can activate latent projections in them as well, pulling their awareness subtly toward you without them knowing why. The shadow, according to Jung, contains all that is repressed or unacknowledged within us. When we speak words that come from a place of inner truth, without masks or manipulation, we bypass the ego's defenses. The listener may feel an unexplainable draw because something in your energy resonates with a hidden part of themselves. This is not control, it's alignment. Jung's process of individuation, the integration of the unconscious with the conscious self, teaches us that true connection arises not from pretending or pleasing, but from becoming whole. When you speak intentionally before sleep, aligning both your conscious desire and unconscious feeling, you invite a psychic response. If that person is open, even unconsciously, they may feel you, without logic, without explanation. This is the alchemy of psyche meeting psyche, where words become bridges between inner worlds. Carl Jung taught that the unconscious does not process reality the way the conscious mind does. Instead of logic, it responds to symbols, images, emotions, and repetition. Language, when used with emotional charge and focused intent, becomes more than just a tool for communication. It becomes a vessel of symbolic meaning. Especially in liminal states, such as the moments before sleep, words can penetrate the unconscious with extraordinary depth. This is because the boundary between conscious and unconscious awareness becomes thinner, allowing intentional phrases to bypass the rational filters of the ego and sink directly into the psyche. When you speak a specific affirmation or emotionally charged phrase before sleeping, you're not merely talking to yourself, you are interacting with the deeper layers of your own mind. In Jungian terms, this is where the self resides, the totality of the psyche that includes both conscious and unconscious elements. By directing intentional language into this space, you're essentially placing a symbolic message at the gateway of your inner world. And because the psyche is relational by nature, this inner gesture reverberates outward, often touching the subtle field that connects you with others. Words become more than just sentences when spoken from the heart before sleep. They take on symbolic value. For example, saying something like, "You feel me even when I'm gone," doesn't just function as a hopeful statement. It becomes a psychic symbol of presence, of connection beyond time and space. In Jungian psychology, such symbols hold the power to unify opposites. The phrase represents both absence and connection, longing and fulfillment. The unconscious thrives on these kinds of dualities. It doesn't need things to be clear, it needs them to be meaningful. This is especially potent in relationships, where projection is constantly at play. When we speak with emotional clarity before sleep, we are influencing not only our own inner narrative, but the projection field we unconsciously co-create with others. If that person is psychologically or emotionally connected to you, even distantly, your symbolic act may stir their unconscious. Not because of any magic trick, but because unconscious minds are not separate in the way our egos believe. Jung often emphasized the collective unconscious as the shared psychic substrate of all humans. When you send out a symbolic message from your soul, it moves within that collective field. Symbols are the language of the unconscious. Words like always, remember, feel, still, here, and now carry profound emotional resonance. They bypass intellect and awaken something older and deeper within us, archetypal responses that have shaped human emotion for centuries. And when these words are spoken before sleep, with quiet conviction, they become seeds. Seeds that can grow within you, shifting your perception, your energy, and even how others unconsciously respond to you. This isn't about manipulation or control. Jungian work is never about trying to dominate another's mind or emotions. Rather, it is about understanding the energetic and symbolic dynamics that shape how we relate. When you say something intentionally before sleep, you are aligning your conscious desire with the unconscious realm, which is where most relational dynamics actually unfold. You're not casting a spell on someone. You're harmonizing with a deeper psychic current that can create moments of synchronicity, attraction, or attention that appear mysterious but are deeply grounded in symbolic communication. The effect of this symbolic use of words extends beyond the night. If repeated over time, your psyche begins to shift its internal structure, aligning thought, feeling, and intention. The unconscious registers this as inner congruence, and Jung observed that the more internally congruent we become, the more the outer world mirrors that state. So yes, someone may think of you without knowing why, not because of manipulation, but because your unconscious message found resonance in a shared psychic space they also inhabit. Carl Jung suggested that relationships operate on multiple levels, some visible and tangible, others hidden in the realm of the unconscious. While the ego perceives interaction through behavior, words, and proximity, the psyche forms connections through resonance, energy, and shared symbols. This is what creates a psychic link, an invisible but potent thread that ties two people together on a deeper level. Emotional resonance, particularly when amplified by intention, creates an echo in the unconscious of another, even when they are not physically present or consciously aware of your thoughts. At the heart of this phenomenon is the idea that emotions are energetic in nature. Jung believed that the psyche is made of energy, libido, not just in the Freudian sexual sense, but as a broader vital force that animates thought, feeling, imagination, and relationship. When we feel something deeply, especially in relation to another person, that emotional charge carries psychic energy. If we pair that energy with a clear intention, expressed through focused words before sleep, we are effectively broadcasting a psychic signal. Not a signal in a physical sense, but a movement of psychic energy directed into the relational field between you and another. Jung understood that the unconscious does not follow the rules of linear time and space. It moves symbolically, associatively, and often synchronistically. That's why someone might suddenly think of you without knowing why, because something within them is responding to an unseen emotional frequency that matches something unresolved, unknown, or meaningful in their own unconscious. This is not mystical in the fantastical sense. It's how the psyche naturally operates beneath conscious awareness. Every relationship contains a field, a subtle dynamic space formed by shared memories, projections, emotional imprints, and archetypal roles. This field lives in both people and exists independently in the psychic space between them. If you've ever felt someone thinking about you, or had a sudden urge to contact someone only to find they were thinking of you at the same time, you've experienced this field in action. Emotional resonance acts like a ripple in that field. When you focus your emotional energy, especially in a quiet, symbolic moment like before sleep, you are sending a ripple through that space. If the other person is psychically open or emotionally bonded to you in any way, they may feel it, not as a conscious thought, but as a shift in mood, a sudden memory, a dream, or a spontaneous feeling of connection. This is particularly relevant in romantic or emotionally charged dynamics. Jung described love as a process of projection, the unconscious aspects of ourselves cast onto the other. In this projected space, the emotional stakes are high and the psychic field becomes highly active. When someone thinks of you suddenly without a clear reason, it may be that your emotional imprint has activated a complex within them, a cluster of unconscious associations linked to love, desire, loss, or longing. Your intentional words before sleep, spoken with feeling and clarity, can awaken this internal constellation. What's essential to understand is that emotional resonance is not about control, it's about connection. It's about aligning your inner state with your intention, allowing that authenticity to ripple outward. When the words you speak at night match your inner emotional truth, and when they are spoken without desperation or manipulation, they carry a unique vibrational integrity. This integrity is what the psyche of another recognizes, not consciously, but through feeling, through dream, through spontaneous thought. Jung also emphasized the role of synchronicity in relationships, meaningful coincidences that reveal the hidden order of the psyche. When emotional resonance creates movement in the psychic field, these synchronicities often follow. A sudden message, a memory triggered, a dream involving the person. These are signs that the unconscious has been stirred, that a psychic link has been activated or reawakened. To engage with this level of connection is to step into a more symbolic and sacred relationship with communication. It means recognizing that silence, intention, and emotional clarity can carry more weight than direct action. And when used wisely, this awareness doesn't manipulate. It heals, it reconnects, and it brings unconscious longing into conscious recognition. Carl Jung introduced the powerful concepts of anima and animus to describe the unconscious feminine within the man and the unconscious masculine within the woman. These are not roles or gender stereotypes, but deep archetypal energies that shape how we experience love, attraction, and connection. Jung believed that within every individual, there exists a psychic image of the opposite sex, formed through personal experiences, cultural influence, and most importantly, the collective unconscious. These inner figures influence who we are drawn to, how we fall in love, and how we maintain emotional bonds. When you speak with intention before sleep, you are not just communicating with another person. You may be invoking their inner archetype, the part of them that seeks psychic balance through connection. The power of archetypal attraction lies in its symbolic depth. When a woman speaks affirming, emotionally charged words before sleep with someone in mind, she is often engaging not just with the man's conscious awareness, but potentially with his anima. The anima, as Jung described, is the soul image, the inner feminine in a man that influences his moods, his ideals of love, and his intuitive experiences. If your words resonate with the emotional tone or symbolic image held by his anima, he may feel a pull toward you, unexplained, magnetic, and deeply emotional. It may come through as a dream, a memory, or a sudden desire to reconnect. He doesn't have to understand why, because the anima doesn't speak through logic. It speaks through feeling, through longing, and through the subtle activation of the unconscious. In the same way, when a man speaks from a place of truth and emotional presence, his words may stir a woman's inner animus, the archetype representing the inner masculine. The animus governs her internal dialogue, her values, and her sense of direction. If his spoken intention before sleep aligns with her inner masculine ideals, strength, clarity, presence, then she may unconsciously begin to think of him, not because he forced a thought into her mind, but because something inside her recognized him. His energy touched an archetypal place within her psyche. This is not about pretending to be someone you are not to fit someone's inner fantasy. On the contrary, archetypal attraction deepens when authenticity is present. Jung emphasized that individuation, the process of becoming whole, requires the integration of both masculine and feminine within. When you begin to honor your inner polarity, embodying both strength and sensitivity, action and receptivity, you naturally emanate a more complete and balanced energy. This energy communicates beyond words. It activates something in others that feels like fate, like destiny, like recognition without reason. That's because the archetypes are timeless, and when someone's outer presence matches another's inner image, it feels mythic. It feels like coming home. The words you speak before sleep can become a ritual of archetypal invocation. If you speak from your inner feminine, offering warmth, depth, intuition, you awaken in the other a longing to reconnect with what has been lost within themselves. If you speak from your inner masculine, asserting presence, stability, truth, you stir in the other the need to ground and feel protected. These are not performances, but expressions of internal wholeness. And when spoken in the sacred space between waking and sleep, the psyche listens, not just yours, but theirs as well. This also explains why the right words can linger in someone's mind even after a single conversation, or why a short message can feel deeply significant. It's not the words themselves, but the archetypal charge behind them that creates the echo. Your voice becomes a symbol, your intention becomes a presence, and if it touches an unconscious image within them, it creates psychic movement. He may think of you not because he remembers your face or voice, but because his inner feminine stirs at night, whispering through dream and feeling. She may remember you not because of what you said, but because your energy aligned with something sacred within her inner masculine. Jung taught that we are drawn to those who carry what is unresolved within us. When your words align with someone's inner archetypal needs, they feel called, not logically but psychically. This is the mystery of archetypal attraction. It is not superficial or manipulative. It is deep, symbolic, and often inexplicable. And when used with respect and awareness, it allows us to love not through possession, but through resonance. The time just before sleep is a sacred window. It is the threshold between conscious and unconscious, where the ego begins to loosen its grip and the deeper layers of the psyche emerge. Carl Jung regarded this space as especially potent for inner work, because the unconscious becomes more accessible. What we impress upon the mind during this transition has a greater chance of taking root, not only within ourselves, but within the subtle energetic field that connects us to others. When paired with genuine emotion and clear intention, the words you speak at this time can initiate both influence and transformation. But the power lies not in the words alone. It lies in the state of alignment between what you feel, what you say, and what you intend. Jung's process of individuation teaches us that transformation occurs when opposites are integrated, when the conscious and unconscious are in dialogue, when the masculine and feminine energies are honored within, when the shadow is no longer rejected but welcomed. Only then do we gain the authority to shape our inner and outer reality. A night ritual based on this awareness becomes more than a practice of suggestion. It becomes a symbolic act of claiming inner wholeness. Before you sleep, the mind begins to relax its defenses. The inner critic grows quiet. In that moment of stillness, your words are not filtered in the same way they would be during the day. They are received by the unconscious more openly, more symbolically. If your words are charged with longing, truth, and presence, they become a living symbol, a message not just for yourself, but for the unconscious of the other. Jung believed that intention infused with feeling has a magnetic quality. It attracts like a psychological gravity. The more aligned your intention is with your emotional truth, the more potent its effect, not because of magic, but because of psychic coherence. Let's say you speak something like, "You feel my presence even now." If this is said with real emotional clarity, not as a plea but as a statement of felt truth, then it bypasses surface desire and enters the unconscious as a symbolic message. Not only do you affirm your own emotional reality, but you place a symbol into the shared psychic space between you and the other. And if there is still a link, emotional, archetypal, or energetic, that message may be received. The person may feel a sudden shift, a thought, a dream, a restlessness that comes from a place they cannot explain. Jung called these kinds of occurrences acausal, meaning they are not caused by physical interaction, but arise from the synchronicity between inner and outer events. This is why clarity of intention is essential. If your motivation is rooted in fear, desperation, or control, then your ritual becomes distorted. The unconscious does not respond well to manipulation, it responds to meaning. To influence another without falling into shadow, your desire must first pass through integration. You must own your feelings, your needs, your vulnerabilities. The night ritual becomes a sacred mirror. Are you speaking from a place of alignment or from an attempt to escape your own discomfort? When you speak your chosen phrase before sleep, you are also planting a seed in your own unconscious. That seed will grow during the night, through dreams, emotions, symbolic imagery, reshaping your internal world. And as Jung observed, when the inner world shifts, the outer world eventually follows. The real transformation begins in how you carry yourself, how you move through the world with subtle but increased coherence. And this shift is often mirrored back to you in the most unexpected ways, by the person thinking of you, reaching out to you, dreaming of you. So much of human connection takes place beneath words. Jung's work helps us see that the psyche is always listening, always reaching toward integration. When we engage the unconscious with respect, with clarity and with emotional resonance, we begin to live not from reactivity, but from symbolic power. Your night ritual becomes a quiet act of psychological artistry, where your words shape not just the night, but the hidden fabric of connection between souls. And in this space, someone may begin to think of you, not because they were told to, but because something deep within them recognized something deep within you. A meeting of unconscious currents, a response to a call that was never spoken aloud but was always heard. Every night, just before sleep, you stand at the doorway between the visible and the invisible, the conscious and the unconscious. In that quiet moment, the words you choose have the power to echo far beyond your mind. They travel inward, deep into your own psyche, and outward into the subtle field that connects all of us. Carl Jung showed us that transformation does not begin with action. It begins with awareness. When you speak with clarity, presence, and emotional truth, especially during this sacred threshold, you activate something more profound than thought. You begin to embody the symbolic force of intention. This isn't about control, it's about resonance. When someone thinks of you without knowing why, it's often because your inner world has aligned with theirs on an unconscious level. You've become a symbol of memory, emotion, or archetypal connection, and in that moment, they feel your presence, not with logic, but with something deeper. So tonight, speak with meaning. Let your words be a bridge, not just to another person, but to your truest self. If you found this powerful, subscribe to the channel and watch the next video on your screen. Your journey into deeper connection and inner mastery is just beginning. Stay aware, stay intentional, and never underestimate the quiet power of your own voice.